What is up, Ring Army? My name is Nized JaeYeu, and welcome back to another video. Today I have for you all a new podcast episode. This time is with special guest JaeYeu, or Jay. If that name rings a bell, you might know him for the Dead by Daylight content back in the day. He still covers asymmetricals and other games that interest him. I've been a fan of his for a few years now, so it was very cool to have spoken with him. Make sure to support him. I'll leave his link down below. We talked about asymmetrical games like Killer Clowns from Outer Space, VHS, TCM, and even Project Playtime. Before I forget, I want to give you guys a heads up. I don't know why, but OBS likes to mess up audio bad sometimes. In this episode, you'll hear Jay's audio break up or glitch at times. It's not terrible, but it is noticeable. I don't know why it did that. I hate it, but there's nothing I could have done. If you know how to fix that in OBS, I'd be very thankful. Also, leave a like on the video if you enjoy, and also why not subscribe to the channel? I'd really appreciate it. I hope you all enjoyed this podcast. It was very fun, and with all that, I will speak you guys on the next run. So first of all, I just want to thank you, Jay, for joining us.
Dude, thanks so much. I did not see this coming, but I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, it's been on my mind for a little bit now. Ever since we first interacted.
Oh yeah, man. It's crazy how like some of my best friendships are like they're just like, hey, what's up? And like from other content creators, and that's how it usually starts.
Yeah, that's how I started. I met most of the partners or creators mostly from the other partner program. So just the connections there started.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So for the first question I have here, what did Killer Clowns do in the trailers / gameplay showcases that got your attention?
I think it would just remind me so much of VHS, another ASIM game that got canceled. But this one, it just has like that less seriousness to it because like what ASIM's games do wrong, in my opinion, they try to come out very competitive, which is, you know, it's in nature. Like everybody's competitive, but this one just seems wacky, like Friday the 13th, and I think that's what got my attention the most.
Yeah, same here. I remember VHS. You were actually the one that got me into VHS back in the day.
Yeah, it's unfortunate what happened to the game. You know, like as much people didn't like it. You know, I tried my best. Like if you had fun on the teen side, that was kind of like what I was like doing. Like all the feedback I gave was for teens. I didn't play much killer or monster. And I mean, that was probably the main issue why the game failed, because of the monster killer role. I should have put more time in that, but I just loved how everybody had fun on Teen.
Oh yeah, I agree. Monster was just
it was stressful.
Yeah.
It was stressful.
Way more than DVD, if I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah. You know, I mean, we told them, but that's a whole new video we can go through.
Yeah, I still have a friend who was Rewinder. And she tells her stories all the time. Yeah, very interesting stuff. Well, it's unfortunate, but luckily this game kind of brings back that visual.
Yeah, that 80s theme. Like, yeah, I love the 80s theme.
I was saying, I wish more horror games are based around that. Next to Security Breach. Security Breach kind of did that, but for ASIMs, VHS was like kind of the first one. Yeah,
I had fun on Security Breach. It was like, to this day, it still has a lot of bugs, but if you just like ignore it, the game is really fun.
It's probably my second favorite FNAF game of all time.
You know, when I VHS like religiously, I talked to a lot of especially the main dev, and I even push for like that theme of character of like Security Breach to be a monster for VHS, and they were considering it, but they said for like the first 2 years they wanted like all original monsters in their game, but they were eventually going to go out and look for like a license.
Yeah, that would have been interesting, actually.
Yeah,
I didn't know they were going to go for licenses, since they were like
like they wanted a pool of their own roster like first, then eventually I mean, they had a couple. They even tried to get like universal monsters into their game because it makes sense, you know, like Dracula, you know, all that, but they just couldn't get it.
All right, so for the second question, do you think Killer Clowns has the potential, from what we've seen so far in the trailers, to last for more than a year or two?
Short answer, yes, but you know, like with these ASIM games, I wouldn't hold my breath to it. You know, with the I mean, TCM, I think they're about to just hit their first year. Once they hit around August, I guess. The issue with like these games' lifespans is, we'll get to it later, but like the most issues is just content. like
Okay.
content shouldn't content like for new content should not take more than 3 months. My opinion. 4 months probably the max I would go, but 6 months is 6 month periods. That's you're asking for your players to wait for half a year, basically, for new content, and that was major issues for like a lot of other games.
Oh, you have no idea. You probably know Project Playtime, right?
Oh yeah,
No updates since October.
yeah. You know, like I was excited. I liked the game, but like they even asked us like early in like I guess like the early month or two, like in the private Discord or whatever. They asked us like if you could pick like any other. I guess they call them toys, right?
Toy monsters or monsters.
Toy monsters. Like who they want. I voted for. I can't remember his name. Like the little toy robot. I voted for him.
A Boogiebot.
But everybody voted for Pugapillar.
PJ.
And yeah, like he had a huge like voting pool.
Oh yeah,
but
I remember that day. They asked everybody.
And yeah, they asked everybody in the but where's that? That's like almost a year. Like whatever happened to that? But
yeah, I don't know. It's just a bunch of behind the scenes stuff, I'm assuming.
I assume is because they thought about it really hard, and you have to think like as content creators, we think like this too. Do we want to spend like days, hours on one video that you know that probably won't get a lot of attention, or do you focus on something that you know that gets a lot of attention? So the numbers were probably weren't as big as they were hoping for Project Playtime. So like, okay, you know what? We'll still keep it around, but that's not our main focus right now. Our main focus are the chapters of, Poppy Playtime. Yeah. Which makes sense. They make more money like that.
Oh yeah. I can say, I can't say other stuff because of NDA, but like other stuff they mentioned publicly, they're mostly focused on chapter 4 at the moment and their other original game. But the problem is everybody's demanding for Project, like myself included. I know some content creators whose whole YouTube career is based on Project, and since it's been like 6 months, it's like they're struggling, and I feel them. So that's why almost every day we push them, like, hey, where's Project? Any news on Project, right? There's some stuff that we know, but obviously we can't say, but like in the same time, it's just like, it's unbelievable. Like I still hope.
I'm sorry, go for it. I'm sorry.
Like I hope, like I still have hope on. I'm still hoping onto Project. Like I don't think they're completely abandoning it, since the CEO said they're planning to add a lot of stuff to it, but just not right now. Not sure if it's in like the next year or so.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm surprised the game has not gone crossplay, because like for like the longest time, Project Playtime had more player base than VHS, more than Friday 13 at a time when Friday 13 was still kind of popping off a little bit, like on the sideline. And at one point, it even had more player base than TCM, which I don't get it. I think it's because like the audience is so young. Because like when I go check the Twitch streams, like nobody's streaming the game. So like I assume it's just younger audience playing the game, which is going to be good for the game eventually, because those younger audience are going to grow up to be content creators, and they'll have a game that they have a background on, and then they can stream in more. But the game does definitely need like a lot of content. And at least it needs a lot of content and crossplay, in my opinion.
I'm not sure about crossplay since there's still an early access, especially right now since it's like at its very low state. I don't think it's gonna be that big enough to get crossplay for now, at least. I mean, not even for mobile.
Yeah, that's true. It's true, but like they need to get on the ball, because they're way behind. They're like way behind.
Yeah, but like the chapters, like you said, is like their main focus and everything, and I think they're just putting all their time on that, unfortunately. But yeah, Project was really big when it launched. I think it had like over 20,000 players at launch, which is insane. But it was a very buggy launch, like just like as bad as Security Breach. Like,
and I don't know what it is with like every asymmetrical game. Like almost every, I can't think of one that probably didn't really have it. Even DVD had it. Like the inviting your friends issue. Like I don't get it. I don't get why it's such a big deal. And that scares me. I'm like, whenever a new asymmetrical comes out, I'm like, oh my god, if they don't get the party invite thing right, it's gonna be bad already.
Not even Project has that. The first phase or season, we called it phase on Project. So phase 1, phase 2, they had a lobby, so we could just invite our friends. They took that completely out in phase 3, so we can't even play with our friends anymore. It was really questionable too. I don't know. Even I was confused. I was like, why?
Yeah.
And they barely added the new lobbies in Phase 2. And they just got rid of it the next season.
I don't get it. If it's, it's fun and it's not broken, why take it away?
Exactly. This is exactly how it works. Alright, so the third question is, what do you think the game needs to do to keep it alive and healthy?
Content, probably the biggest one. Content. Like, we can say, like, I think content and events are probably like the most important things, because content brings like even new players. I mean, we see that with DBD, like, oh, there's I don't know, like an alien character. I want to try him out. I never played DBD, but he looks cool. And the only issue about this game is that it's kind of tied down to clowns. But I still think if you make them cool and you make the human side cool, like, like, I don't know, like they introduce a new cop. This cop is like half cyborg or something like that. Because like people disagree when I say stuff like that, but I'm like, dude, we can go full vanilla and keep it so original to like the concept, because it's a video game. It's like they're like, oh, I want to keep it like as original as the movie. I'm like, yes, that's cool and all, but like, look at TCM. They're stuck in the 70s. I guarantee you that TCM will start inviting like other TCM characters from the 90s and 2000s, because their game is falling apart. So bringing like licensed characters will, like, say they bring the reboot characters. I'm pretty sure there's fans of the reboot characters. Jessica Biel, I would buy that if she was in TCM. Like, if she was going to be a part of it, I would buy it. So what they need to do is focus on content and events. Events is very simple. It could be like something so minimal, like, play, Fiesta clowns. You get like a Mexican hat or something. You get cool. You get a mustache. Like, people love free stuff. And
True.
It doesn't have to be so crazy where it's going to take you 4 months to do. That was the biggest problem with VHS. They would take 4 months to make something. I'm like, dude, like, people are just happy with free stuff. Don't make a reskin, but like, I don't know, like change it. Put polka dots or something. Like anything that's free is good.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying,
at least daily logins, like, just to keep people keep coming back.
Exactly. A lot of these ASIM games that come out don't have daily logins. I mean, even though like the ones in DVD are probably not the greatest, but at least they're there. There's something to do there. I mean, VHS had like the catalog, not the catalog. What do you call it? The VH tapes, whatever.
Movies, I think.
That you can. Yeah. They would just have, that's like, it was almost endless. Like, you just had a ton of tapes that you can rent and then like do different things. TCM doesn't have that, or Evil Dead never had that. So, I just hope that Killer Clowns, from me talking to the devs, it seems like they've been watching a lot of these other ASIM games, and they've been picking up on what, what those games didn't have, and they're trying to put it in their game.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said on your video. Like, they know, it looks like they know what to do for ASIMs.
I mean, it's not their first time, like, especially if, so I think it's TerraVision Games. It was the main dev. I don't know what other games. They're actually Hispanic. Like, I can't remember what part of Hispanic, but they're they're a Hispanic group, and they've been working on a game for like a year and something, maybe even longer. I could be wrong. And then Ilphonic was they're pretty much done with Ghostbusters, so they were looking for a new job. And like, I forgot, there was like a couple guys on the publishers. I forgot their name. They know Ilphonic because they worked on Friday 13th. Because half the people that worked on Friday 13th left to go work on Killer Clowns, and then the other half went to go work on TCM. That's how it worked. So Ilphonic worked on Friday 13th, and they didn't work on TCM. They worked on Ghostbusters and Predator. And now this is their fourth ASIM game. So they worked on a total of 3, but this is going to be their fourth one. And they're half publishing and half developing. That's what I've been told. They like they're doing half and half, which is good, because I like Ilphonic's vision, and I think they get the what's that word? They get the zazz, right? I don't know how to explain it. Like, the dancing, the emotes, the cool items that you ever see in those 3 other ASIM games I mentioned.
The pizzazz.
Right there, the pizzazz. That's Ilphonic. That's their touch. And if you play Ghostbusters, you're not a fan. I'm not really, but you see all these you see all these little details like customization, like character looks, like that's their look. Like they get that down right. So TerraVision, I hope that's the dev's name, the original people. They try to I guess kind of copy what Ilphonic did, and Ilphonic came in, and this is like there's a podcast and interviews of them talking to the developers at Ilphonic. They said that they came in, they're like, hey, that's kind of like what we do, but it's like this, and then they showed them how to do it their style. So it's cool that the original devs were inspired and wanted to like kind of copy what Ilphonic did, and now they're working with them, and now they can show them like, hey, this is how you do it.
True, actually. Yeah, I noticed that in Ilphonic's games, like they had like that little that
pizzazz.
Yeah, like not childish, but like goofiness
in
their games.
And I think you need that because like your mind is free when you think of a child. Like when you're like think of as a child, when you were a child, you are like free. Like your imagination is just everywhere. So I think you need to have that when you work in this kind of business.
Yeah, just have fun. Don't take it too seriously, like how behavior does a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty much a competitive game.
And your earlier statement about how Killer Clowns is mostly stuck in the 80s or 90s.
Mm-hmm.
That brings me to the next question, actually. Since Killer Clowns only has one movie, do you think they can make original content and original clowns for the game?
I mean, they already have. A lot of these characters didn't make it into the movie. They're in the game. There's a ton of stuff they haven't shown yet, but we've been told like there's going to be newer characters that in the movie, I think it's Debbie and Mike are like the two like like the couple, whatever, the boyfriend girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be pre-order bonus. I'm not getting paid by Killer Clowns, by the way. I'm just saying like if you pre-order the game, you get them, or it's one of the deluxe. Anyway, like, I'm just going to get the whole thing because you get like a ton of things. So I'm getting the whole thing.
I already did myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting the whole thing. And you get to play the game 1 week early. So that's a plus. So the movie, they're working really close with the Chioda brothers, who are like the inventors of the Killer Clowns. Like it's 3 brothers, and one produced, one direct, and one came up with the ideas and concepts and all that stuff. But they all work together as one. And they already came up with so many cool ideas. I mean, so like the pizza box, right? I mean, it was in the movie, but we never seen it like with like feet actually running around.
No.
And that was new. And there's a couple other new weapons that we have never seen. So I what the Chioda Bros have said in like interviews, they're hoping that this game sparks a lot of people's interest, where eventually they can bring a part 2 movie, which I would love to see. It almost happened twice. It almost happened for Netflix and Sci-Fi, but creative difference and timing was never a key role for them. Personally, I think Blumhouse probably should take over, and because they're pretty good. Blumhouse are good at taking license and making it to its own thing.
It's a gamble with Blumhouse. Like they're really good at making movies, but like some of them miss, some of them are really good. It's like it's a gamble. Like the recent Five Nights at Freddy's movie, it's kind of not the best, but for the fans, it's really pretty good.
Personally, what I would do is maybe do one season. If it does something about like I've noticed that I'm getting older. I've noticed with TV shows, the first season is always good. The second season is always like The third season's where usually everything starts to fall apart, or it starts losing the watcher's interest. And what I would do is do one movie, see how it does. If people really want season 2, we'll give them a season 2. But I think I would end it there and then go to a movie right there, because
I got you.
Yeah, because like if you just keep on, like there's so much you could do, because like shows are you can expand the story more with shows. Movies, you have like a 2-hour window most times, and you have to pack everything in two hours, which is hard sometimes. So one full season just to get everybody remembering the clowns again, because like people are gonna watch the movie and be like, well, this is just like the first movie. Why? It's just updated graphics, you know? And I just hope that this game does bring people back into like the whole like all like horror clowns, you know. Like I just want a game that's fun, that doesn't take it serious, and this game just kind of oozes it out.
Oh yeah, I agree. Like I kind of, before they announced Killer Clowns back in late 2022. Like it got delayed for a whole year too, which is pretty surprising. But before that, I was already a big fan of Killer Clowns. I just didn't hear them as much anymore. But when the first trailer came out, everybody started talking about it again, which is pretty cool because Killer Clowns is underrated in my opinion. And this is, I don't know, it just seems nice seeing that there is still a tiny fan base in Killer Clowns. And with how much they've shown or how much they talked about Killer Clowns since 2022, and for the whole year, everybody's been quiet about it, but people still know that the game was coming. And since now it's technically next month, since we got a week advance, it just shows that people are really passionate about Killer Clowns at the end of the day, since we waited over a year for this thing.
Well, if you think about it, I think they were the first to kind of like make clowns like a horror movie type. There was like the Man Who Laughs. He's kind of, I guess, he's not really a clown. He's just a kind of like a Joker inspired. Like he was the original Joker inspired that always laughed. But I can't think of any other movie that was a clown type movie that was a horror movie. And at the funny story how they came up with the title is that it was just gonna be straight Killer Clowns, no from outer space, but they were afraid of getting like an R rated or something like that, and they were afraid of like, I forgot whoever owns of like pushing movies or like, we're gonna cancel them and be like, no, we can't because of the word Killer Clowns. So they changed the C to a K to make it more like Killer Clowns, and then they added from outer space to make it more sci-fi.
Yeah,
because it is more sci-fi than horror movie in my opinion. Like there is horror in that, but I don't think you're ever scared in that movie unless you're like you're like a kid. But it's just the goriness of it, and it's like I tell people. I had a friend who's not really into horror movies, but we had a movie night like a while back, and I put him into a seat and I said, "Okay, we're gonna watch clown movies, and I want to see which one you like the most." And he doesn't really keep up what I do. He's just a really close friend.
Yeah.
So we watch Killer Clowns, we watch It, and we watch another movie called Clown. And he loved Killer Clowns. He loved it. He said It, Pennywise. We watched the original one. And he hated it. He's like, this is the most this is boring. He's like, Jay, this is the most boring thing ever. I didn't show him the remake or whatever, but
yeah.
And then I showed him Clown, which was it's a very underrated horror movie. It's basically like a clown that finds a suit, but the suit is an actual demon skin. And he puts it looks like a clown suit. So he puts on the suit and he can't take it off. And then like the longer the days go, the more clown appearance, like he's getting naturally, like he grows a red nose. He takes it off, but he takes off his nose. There's a point where he cuts himself and he starts bleeding like different colors. Like it's a very like, I don't know. It's interesting. If you ever seen the movie Homecoming from Spider-Man, that director directed that movie. I think that was his first director.
Oh, John Watts.
I guess. Yeah, I think that was his first movie he got credit for directing. So I recommend. It's called The Clown.
I was gonna write it down.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. It's a unique, or I think it's just called Clown, straight Clown.
Yeah, I see here. Just Clown.
Yeah, just Clown. I showed him those three: Killer Clowns, Clown, and It. And he ranked them at Killer Clown 1, Clown 2, and then It 3. He said Clown was an interesting concept, so he liked it. But he said Killer Clowns, it's just a fun movie. Like you don't have to be a huge horror fan to watch it.
Exactly. I'm just a sucker for campy horror movies. You know, like Willy's Wonderland. That one's just campy and fun. I loved it. Yeah. I think they're gonna make a sequel to that one, but I'm not sure. But like they just need to make more movies like that, and I don't know. Especially right now, like during these times, I'm not sure people would go to the theater and sit down to watch campy movies.
But you see that the cool idea about Killer Clowns, from like back to the question, is like, they're original. Like, can they make original content? Like the cool part about Killer Clowns is that we don't know much about them. So the ideas could be endless. Who's to say they're not from the future? I mean, they have high tech. They're aliens. Like you think about it, they have to be like viewing humans, because what alien takes the appearance of clowns? you know?
True, actually.
So like the ideas are endless. They can go anywhere with the Killer Clowns. It doesn't have to be straight 80s. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I agree on that. Just
Mhm.
just be fun with it.
Yeah.
Don't be serious with it. Like, come on, it's just
It's a
clowns.
video game.
It's clowns.
Yeah,
Like, come on, the door is open. You can do whatever, and it would be fitting too, because yeah, it's goofy.
yep. Exactly.
All right, so the fifth question is: since we can play the game a week early when we pre-order it, do you think a week is a decent amount of time for the devs to know and fix things, or do you think a beta would have been the better decision?
It's kind of 50-50 on both those questions because the first question is no. The playing the week early is not going to fix major issues. Beta, people hate betas because they say betas don't really fix anything, but I think it gives it a nice polish before the full release, in my opinion. A 1 week playing early and then them fixing it before a full release is not enough time. What if there's a major issue like in TCM? All of a sudden, nobody wants to play Leatherface, and now we can't start the game until we have a Leatherface. So what if there's an issue like that? I'm not saying, because from what I was told, you can pick any characters. People that get to play at PAX, you can have like 2 jumbos, like apparently. So it's not going to be locked down. Yeah, apparently that's what people said at PAX. They get to play, and there was like 2 jumbos walking around.
Okay.
But the beta, people don't like it because they're like, well, it's not fair because like, what if it's not open for everybody? That was the big mistake about VHS, making it close. But apparently they were just scared that it was just gonna break the server. But anyways, the beta, I think, is a great addition of people trying out the game before they make a purchase, because people now have to purchase the game to actually give their opinions. I mean, there's those people that watch reviews and never play the game or never watch the movie, which is fine. But I'm one of those people, like, I need to experience it for myself to actually get like a full, unless it's like full disaster, then I'm not gonna waste my time. But yeah, I think a beta would have been nice, or even them gathering testers. And yeah, they got to play at PAX East, but let me tell you something. Everybody I've watched, and this is not a hate, everybody I've watched that played PAX East, you can tell they know zero about asymmetrical games. They're fans, obviously. So when I watch them play, they play like my grandpa. Like they play like, I don't know how all of them overheated a gun. Like, it's common sense.
I saw that. Oh my god, it got under my skin so quickly.
I don't know, dude. Maybe I'm just a different breed of a gamer, like where like I see things and I'm like, dude, why would you do that? Like, I mean, I'm not super amazing, but when I go to these ASIM games, I'm actually going there to try to break the game. Like, every time a new one comes out, I break it. Like, you didn't see how broken, like, I mean, teens were pretty strong in VHS, but they were more broken before I got there and try to give my input. Like, you could get away with so much stuff back then. But like, that's the thing with these ASIM games, is that most of them are like horror fans, which is great. I'm a horror fan too, but they don't think about the consequences of like actually playing a little bit hard. Like, don't play. I'm not asking you to play sweaty. Find bugs. Find what you can do to fix the game. And when I was watching people, they're having a blast, which is fine. First game, have a blast. But I couldn't find one game where somebody knew like the asym mentality of like, oh, I'm gonna keep on looping this one area, or I'm gonna keep on using this one web. I'm gonna keep on using, like, like, find things to help fix. Didn't see that, and I was supposed to go, but I got sick and I couldn't go. And I really wish I would have went, because I feel like once we get to play a week early, oh man, it's gonna be fun the first day. But I give it to the 3rd or 4th day where people are gonna start finding things, and the devs are gonna be like running around scrambling things.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's also like one of the major things I have for Project. Since all the players or the fan base are mostly children, they don't have that ASIM experience. Like, they don't know how to loop or anything. That's like the biggest complaint about Project. Like, that's why I don't like playing Specialist or Survivor on that game that much, because they don't know what they're doing. I'm like basically almost like the only one doing all the puzzles and getting the objectives done. Like, these guys don't know how to play ASIMs. Like, which makes sense because it's probably playtime, but ASIM. So it's like, yeah, they probably didn't play like TCM or DBD. So, at the end of the day, they're just kids. But like,
Well, yeah, because those games are M rated, and this one's I don't think it is, right?
I think Poppy. Well, they don't have an official rating like publicly, but I think there's like PG-13 or 10
I guess
plus.
like the parents see like it's all toys and whatever, so
Yeah,
they're like,
but chapter 3 took a darker turn, which is great in my opinion. I wish they would go more mature.
mm-hmm.
So it's like this new chapter made it more questionable. But like, what's the rating now? Because they showed bodies, they showed blood and everything. So it's like, is it M rated now or just 10 plus? But I think it's just 10 plus right now.
Yeah. I don't know, like Poppy Playtime reminded me so much of you ever seen the series called Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared?
Yes.
Yeah, so like it always reminded me like of that style. And I think that's great. I mean, I would love those characters to be in Project Playtime. I think it just fits perfect for them. Because I mean they're giant like Muppets, but they could be toys as well. I mean, might as well.
Yeah, true. Honestly, I might tell the devs.
Tell them.
Well, you know, I don't think they're gonna be working on Project anytime soon. Sadly.
Yeah.
Everybody's crying for it. Like even in the recent video with me and with some partners that's coming up, some of them broke down saying we need Project back. Like like we need it back, dude. I can't play this anymore. Like literally, someone started screaming and crying. We need Project back.
They probably just need to hire more people, but
I think they did, but money. It's kind of odd. All right, so the sixth question is, what could possibly hurt the game to the point where it becomes stale and really boring?
I think if it becomes too competitive, because we look at games like TCM, it's just too competitive at times. You can have fun on the game, but would you rather play? So the better question: would you rather play Prime TCM, meaning that nobody knows what they're doing, or would you rather play Prime Friday 13th? Friday 13th probably would win most cases because
I agree.
It's just endless of fun. It's not serious. You're walking around, jamming out, like talking to other people, random people. I think there is like VoIP, voice commands and stuff that you could talk to your teammates. But I believe now check this. This is actually a cool concept. They haven't showed it yet, but I'm pretty sure a dev said it's still in the game, but they're probably just waiting for a perfect time to tease it. So the clown killers can talk to the humans. But when they talk in their language.
Oh no!
So it like translates. So if I say, "Oh, you smell," it's gonna do whatever language they do. Yeah, like whatever they do. You know, like
that's really cool. Actually, what the hell?
Yeah, and like, can you imagine getting chased and a clown just doing that right behind you? Just you don't know what they're saying, but they're saying something in their language. That's
awesome.
I'm hoping it's still in the game. The dev said it's still in the game, but if it gets like cut, I wouldn't be surprised. Like they'll add it later on, but whatever. But what could keep the game so stale and boring is just not evolving. You know, if you look at old DVD, it looks nothing like today's DVD because they evolve. They keep on adding newer things. Yeah, the gameplay itself is boring. The core gameplay of DVD is boring, but everything outside of DVD, I think they've done a pretty good job of just promoting, adding new characters, adding events, adding skins, like skins that didn't fit like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, but they're now in now. That's what could be the biggest problem with this game is like if they don't evolve, like if they're stuck in the 80s and they're just never doing anything to change up the game style, whatever. Like if the game loop is so predictable, they don't make any slight changes. Like I don't know, let's just say that because there's 5 escapes. What if they all decided like, oh, just a heads up. Now that because I think there's a timer. There's a timer limit, and I think the last 30 seconds it gives the survivors a chance to escape, kind of like the hatch. What if they made it where like, 10 times more lackeys spawn, and now like they're everywhere, and see that's already they're changing up the game because. You know, there's more lackeys. The lackeys are the little clowns that, you know, they jump on you and grab you. So can you imagine that? Like, can you just imagine like you as a survivor running around? There's just lackeys everywhere and they're like little gremlins trying to stop you from escaping. I would have fun with that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like as soon as more people escape or anything, just more lackeys.
Yeah.
And DVD is just like, yeah. Like they're all dead or out already, nothing changes.
True.
But yeah, like the other thing that might be really good too is of course marketing. The marketing for Killer Clowns has to be really good too.
I mean, they've done a pretty good job. They market themselves at PAX East. They're doing trailers. IGN play the game, and showed a couple trailers here and there. Probably one of the best like marketings in my opinion. I don't know why TCM did the whole Leatherface at AEW wrestling, but that was weird. But whatever. It's a marketing stunt, but whatever. But I think that they've done a pretty good job when it comes to marketing. Not like crazy, but good enough to get people talking.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I barely see stuff for DVD on Twitter, but like on YouTube, on community posts, I believe. I just hope Killer Clowns does more awareness of the game, not just on trailers, you know, because on Twitter, I barely see anything of Killer Clowns, just when they post on their page. I don't see any like promotional ads or anything, but like, I don't know. I just think they should do more with the marketing once the game is getting closer to the end of the next month.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Not like what about you for stale and boring when it becomes when you play an ASIM game? I'm asking because like, you know, maybe one day I'll make one. When do you find yourself boring when an ASIM game's like, oh, this is getting kind of boring?
Like during like playing the game, already playing, or just like the updates?
I would say like after like I always say the 100-hour rule is when you start getting bored of a game. Most times you're trying to find newer things that just don't excite you like they did before because you passed 100 hours.
Oh, then right there I would say just no new content or anything to look forward to in the game. Like, yeah. Like for DVD, they have rifts, they have challenges that's something to do if you want. But like once you're already done, like for example, like in TCM right now, there's like basically nothing to work for. Once you
progression's ass.
Yeah. Once you have the skill tree done and everything, you can either reset or just don't. But other than that, there's like nothing to do else in TCM. So I just think the progression is like the main thing that should be looked at.
Yeah, I agree.
Like the content can wait. Like if they need more time for content, I could wait, but just keep us having to do something while waiting.
Yeah. I mean, with this game, you die as a human. Most times in ASIM games, you're just waiting either to go to the next game or waiting for your friend to die as well or escape. But in this game, they have mini games. So when you die, you're playing mini games, and it's like a timer. That is the only thing that Ilphonic did take from DVD. So when you're on a hook as a cocoon, there's a timer limit that your teammate has to make you escape. Where if they don't meet that time, you die. Whatever. But when you play in the mini games, you have a chance. Or when you're looting, you have a chance to keep a knife on you. And then when the clowns go away, you can escape with a knife. Or when you play the mini games, you have a chance to when you win the mini games, you have a chance to keep the item. It could be random items. It could be from a burger to a knife to a baseball to a baseball bat. Now, whoever you're spectating, you can choose to keep that for yourself or give it to that person. So like say for instance, I'm in a cocoon and you're in the chase and you're like, dude, I need help. And I'm like, oh, I got an energy drink. And you're like, give it to me. And it transfers to you and cool. It helps you escape. So that's what they've been pushing a lot at PAX East. It's like, that is so different from any other games. Like VHS, I would say introduced something different when you were down, you were like collecting orbs. But I even told them that was kind of boring, but at least it was something like you were doing something. And then when you died, you had to go look for the Book of the Dead, which was never fun. Oh, and my God, they were still like, it was the worst. Like you're asking a new player to roam around the map where they don't know if this is an area where players are at or it's a dead zone. Like, I don't know. I always thought it was like the idea was cool, but what's that word I'm looking for? The
execution was poorly.
Yeah, the execution was terrible. I had to beg for them. Eventually they did it where like they increased the noise range of you can hear the book to like, I think it was like 20 meters, but it was always like at 2 to 5 meters where you hear the whisper. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But they finally did near the end. I'm like, thank God. But like it took them like almost half a year just to change that. It's like nobody wants to roam around the map. Like, dude, but see that Killer Clowns has like that cool concept of There's more. I've seen like maybe I think 8 mini games that you can play, and they're like retro, like they're like old retro 8-bit games,
Yeah, I
which are
saw
like
that.
if you grew,
That's
yeah,
sick.
they look fun. Yeah,
But yeah, I didn't know about the transfer thing. I didn't know that was an actual feature
hmm
when I saw the gameplay.
yeah, you can keep it for yourself, or you can give it to whoever. Now it's random. I think if you complete the mini games faster, you get a higher reward. I think that's how it works. I could be wrong, but and who knows? Maybe like that's gonna be like the perk system where you can pick certain cards to help you out. Like, what if you have a card that you eventually unlock that gives you 2 sodas instead of 1? That gives you like a speed boost or whatever.
Hmm. Yeah, some perks could do that.
Mhm.
And what else I was gonna say? It was not a question. It was something. Oh yeah, since it's Elphonic and someone else working on this game, right? Like you said.
Mhm.
People are worried about Elphonic because they have a history of
Mhm.
using IPs and not doing anything with them that much in games like Predator. Predator, they
Mhm.
haven't done anything in a while, I believe. I think recently they updated it with something.
Yeah, they made their team bigger, so now they have a team of they actually have like a team of 3. One's working on Killer Clowns, one's working on Predator, and one's working on Ghostbusters till
Mm.
they're licensed. Well, I mean, like you know how like they don't stay like usually with these licensed games they eventually move on to something else. Um, and I think eventually the Ghostbusters teams are going to stay there until like because it's already happened. The player base on that team on that game is pretty low. Like the only players that play the game are like console players or like really old people. They're going to eventually bring that team to like Killer Clowns. I think I don't know like yeah I think eventually like the whole teams are going to come together and work on Killer Clowns because I see like out of all the other ASIM games they worked on other than Friday 13, I'm not counting that. This game seems like it can live longer because it's wacky. It's the fun of the loop is there. Like the biggest problem with these ASIM games is that it's either you kill or escape, right? This game
Yep.
you could do both. But nobody wants to die and never come back as killer. That was the biggest problem with VHS. You died, that was it. You had 4 lives basically, and that was it. And it sucked because you never knew where they were hiding, and you would just die. This game, if you die as a clown, you have to wait about 45 seconds, 40 to 45 seconds. It could even be reduced with perks and stuff. Like again, we don't know much about the game, but if you die, you come back. So that's a plus. And on the survivor side, there's 5 escapes, but there's a catch to them. Each escape only has a limit to 3. So if me, you, and some random guy escape from, let's say, the teleporter, that's it. That teleporter doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
But there's also a beauty that I think they took this idea from VHS. So they have a resurrection machine, which is like the Book of the Dead in VHS. So it's like a resurrection. Only one person can use it. And I think apparently it's like random. You have to find it and you have to find parts to turn it on. So if you die early, I can bring you back.
Yeah, they showed a lot in that one trailer. Yeah, that resurrection thing I've seen a couple of times. Like you said, VHS did it. But the other things, I see it more balanced than other ASIMs right now, with the like how each exit has a limit, and once you use it, you can't turn it on again. You can't use it again. You have to look for another exit, which is pretty balanced and fair in my opinion. I do hope they do commit to that. They don't like change it last second. Like, oh no, it's unlimited now. You can use a bunch of people, but I don't think they will do that.
Yeah.
And the 7th question is: do you think they should have phases or seasons in the game? Maybe even a battle pass for players to have a reason to keep hopping on every day.
Short answer: yes. It keeps people interested. Like another game, it's not an ASIM game. I think it's called like Deceive Inc. That game was awesome, but what ruined the game for me and a lot of the people is they took like 6 months to bring out one content. But they had like people are not a fan of battle passes, but I think catalogs and no FOMO, which is fear of missing out. That's what it means. Yep. So I think they should do that route where. Again, I don't get why developers do this, like where it's like, oh, limited time battle pass. If you don't make it, screw you. I'm like, dude, do you understand how much money you can make by just leaving that catalog in like your store? Like, say for instance, like we're on season 4 and it's called Halloween Clowns, and like my buddy missed out the Fiesta of Clowns. I'm like, oh, dude, go buy it. You could go buy it right now. And it gives even players more time to play the game because, once I don't know how many times I bought season passes and never completed them. And it makes me never want to buy them ever again. But if you do the catalog route where you purchase it and that's it, it's yours. You don't have to or even if they did it where you have to purchase it in the beginning for you to keep it forever. That can if you want to promote that, hey, buy it now, so then you just keep it in your inventory forever, but you might miss out if you don't buy it. But I still prefer a catalog over a battle pass. I think its catalogs are more fun, but battle pass, I could see that. And events, I mean, there's so many events that they could do for this game, and yeah, I would love to see it.
Yeah, something like how Dead by Daylight does it sometimes. They bring past Rift skins into the item shop.
Yeah, do that too. Yeah.
But yeah, I do agree about the FOMO thing. I know some people are already upset with for example, Fortnite. People missed out on the great skins. They missed out on this Spider-Man skin or this Marvel skin. Like myself, I bought one of the battle passes. I never finished it, and now I don't have Iron Man, for example. It's they should really make it where some previous season skins come back. Maybe maybe not forever, but for a long period,
for Apex, I think her name was Valkyrie. I played her when she first came out because she looked cool, and then I missed 4 or 5 months of not playing, and I wanted to play. And I saw somebody streaming the game, a friend of mine, whatever, and they had this cool Valkyrie skin. I'm like, oh my god, how did you get that? And they were like, oh, it was on season 3. You can't get it anymore. I'm like, well, see, if it was still available, in foam, catalogs, oh yeah, you could purchase the whatever battle pass catalog and go earn it now. If they had that, they could have got a new player. But since it's fear of missing out, I'm never gonna play the game ever again.
Yeah. They should keep some like you said, catalogs open. So yeah, you still have to buy it, but you can still earn those skins. You just have to buy them.
I mean, Overwatch is doing it now, where they have mythic skins, which is the last skin you get in the battle pass. They are now doing it where whatever battle pass you're right now, whatever. I think they're battle pass. They're on season 10, and you get these weird mythic shards or whatever. And at the end of it, you can either spend on the new one, or you can go to the store, and if there's a previous mythic skin that you missed out, you can purchase that.
Oh, that's nice, actually.
Yeah, but the only thing is if you don't want to wait to finish the battle pass, you can buy the shards, whatever. But they're expensive. So
yeah, I'm not surprised.
They kind of missed. They kind of dropped the ball on that. They had a good plan, and then somebody's like, make it basically, if you want a whole mythic skin without doing the battle pass, you have to pay $90 for it.
Yeah.
So no.
I haven't been Overwatch in oh my god, 5 months. So it's
even if you're a huge Overwatch fan, you can't sit there and say that's a fair price. That's not.
Ever since Overwatch 2 launched, everybody kept complaining about the prices, and they still haven't done anything about it, which is dumb.
True.
They even canceled the whole point of this quote unquote sequel.
Yeah, it's not the same. Now everybody wants 6v6 back in Overwatch, which I feel it just had that shine. But 5v5, it feels like it works better and it's less clutter. If they add 6v6 in, it's going to be even more clutter everywhere.
Yeah, don't remind me of those days. 2 tanks and everything. That I don't know. It was just a headache.
Yeah. But it works for games like Marvel Rivals because it's third person, so you can see everything around you. So it's not as super cluttered in your face with effects and everything.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. So 2 games are coming out next month, technically.
Yeah, technically.
And for the final question, do you feel that the game can become one of the big asymmetricals if the devs do the correct things and make the good decisions?
I'm gonna say no, but hear me out. It's because this game has its own niche, and I think that's fine because you're never gonna be as big as DBD or Friday the 13th because Killer Clowns is not it's not a big name. Jason's a pretty big name because it's Jason, Friday the 13th. If Ghostface came out with the game or Freddy Krueger, then yeah, I could probably see maybe because those are big household names. Killer Clowns, not that many people know about at all. But that's not to hate that, I'm not trying to hate the game, because I think it still can stand on its own, like feet with like its own genre. I think it could be around, and this is me praying, 3,000 to 5,000 players daily for like months and months and months. And I'm happy with that, because that's on Steam. That's not including like,
Yeah.
Because everybody, what they do when a new ASIM comes out, they look at Steam charts, because they're obsessed with people are obsessed with numbers. And if they see if they see low player count, they're going to already say the game is terrible. I mean, look at, you go right now on Steam chart and just look at TCM. And the first thing you see is just a bunch of red numbers. That's already going to make people not want to play the game, one. Two, they're going to hate on it just because they don't know why it has low numbers or whatever. Because when you play TCM, it's not as bad as people make it out to be. It's bad, but I played way worse games and way worse ASIM games to where, like, I don't even know how it still has a player base. But I still feel that this game will have its own, but it would never be as big as TCM. But I hope I'm wrong. I mean, not TCM, DBD. I do hope that it eventually has like just a good player base that years and years it can keep on growing, because you are kind of limited to yourself. You're clowns and 80s. But again, we talked about it. If they can evolve from that, then I could see the game being, in a different state.
Yeah, exactly. Like right now, I just checked TCM. They only have 683 players on Steam, and Project Playtime only half of that, 313.
Yeah.
Like when Chapter 3 released in January, Project Playtime's players went up like over 2K just because of Chapter 3. So it's like that would have been the great opportunity to update the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like just thrive off of the success of the third chapter. But yeah, I see your point about the player base and how that could be discouraging to the devs.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they see low numbers, they don't want, like, yeah, nobody's playing this anyway, so let's just sunset it.
Personally, I always thought like the Steam chart just ruins these new games that come out, especially like ASIM games. They just ruin them, because if they're not as high as DVDs, people just hate on them like automatically.
Yeah, but like people still have to. Well, not everybody, but like people still have to give it a chance at least. Just keep playing it. Hopefully the devs listen and they add more stuff here and there. But like, yeah, I do kind of agree at how Steam DB can ruin games as they go on, just because of the numbers.
Yeah.
And I believe that's all the questions I had for you.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Like the ASIM game has been around for like almost 10 years. Almost. I think it's like, how many years has been DVD? But before DVD, there was Evolve, and before Evolve, there was Left 4 Dead. A lot of people don't know that Left 4 Dead is an asymmetrical game, because you're 4, and then you could play. There was a mode that you can play as the tank and all the other characters. So
True.
It's been almost like 10 years that the ASIM game has been around, but it still feels like it's young. And all I want is another asymmetrical game that's just thriving and surviving. And because we just can't keep on going back to DVD. We just can't. Like, it's just, like we need something new.
Yeah, hopefully this game is a new change of pace. Hopefully it wakes people up, like, from just making themselves suffer on DVD. This game has the potential. I do believe it has the potential on becoming at least big enough to last a few years, hopefully, if they do everything correctly. They fix everything, they add more content. Content is like the number one thing that should be on their list, or maybe number 2 on their list. Because, yeah, I can speak about another ASIM, but, like, yeah, I just hope Killer Clowns does succeed. I wish the best for it. I hope the devs know what they're doing. Hopefully the devs listen to the feedback. And, yeah, I hope it all goes well next month for them.
Yeah, same. Like, that's all we want.
Just listen to the community, please.
Right.
Yeah, I just want to thank you again, Jay, for hopping on. I really do appreciate you being on. I've been a fan of yours for a few years. Yep, so it's like really cool to talk to you.
I appreciate it, man. Like, it's just really cool that, like my voice has like people out there like thinking about me, like, oh, like this guy, like I like his videos, I watch him, and we're doing a video now, which is cool. Like I've done like there's only 2 people I've never met that like inspired me to do YouTube and streaming, but I hope one day I get to meet them. And it's cool that, you know, you asked me because you're like, oh, I watched your videos, and I don't know, I still haven't got to that point where I got to, you know, talk to someone that I looked up to and or like talked to or watched, and it's just it's cool hearing your voice because I could hear the excitement. And you know, if you're thinking about like the people that are watching, if you're thinking about being a content creator, I would do it, because right now it's probably better than ever. There's so many tools for you to watch. Everything you need to learn about being a content creator is on YouTube. Literally, you type it in, it's right there. Like, now is the time if you ever think about doing it.
Do it. No one's stopping you. Just do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. You have so many opportunities. Perfect time to do it. Killer Clowns can be your door. Keep doing it.